Alright, so this is the last video. We're going to finish up the rest of it, okay? So in this case, go ahead and get started with number 61. And it's the same issue as the one we had before. Whenever you're solving, you want to have the x's on the same side because you're solving for x, and there's two of them. So in order to do that, you find out where they're at. If they're opposite sides, you have to get rid of them. So positive 3x is minus 3x. If I do that to both sides, this x will cross out, and we're back to a normal equation. 2x minus 2 equals a 6. Because 5x take away 3x is just 2x. Opposite of minus 2 is plus 2. 2x equals to 8. And if you divide by 2, x is 4. Alright, graph an inequality. Y is less than 2x, 2/3 x minus 1. There's two things you have to make sure you do here. You have to choose a line. It's either going to be a solid line or a dashed line. And second thing is you have to shade, either above or under. Now to graph, you can either start with the y-intercept, rise and run, or you could use a calculator. It's up to you. You go to y equals, you pop 2/3 x minus 1, and you have a bunch of dots to pick from. 0, -1 is the first one. And the next one could be 3, 1. Okay, those are two dots, that's all I care. Or you can start off with the y-intercept at -1, rise 2, run 3, same thing. Now let's choose a line. If it's like this, that's a solid line. If it's like this, it's a dashed line because it's missing the equal sign. Well, this one does not have an equal sign, so it's dashed. Hope you can tell that's dashed. Then, if you shade above, it should say greater than. If you shade under, it should say less than. That says less than, so I shade under. And that's how you do it. Let's write down an inequality for this one. Again, we gotta choose a line. This line is dashed, so it does not have a greater than sign. It's also, where is it shaded above or under? It's actually shaded under, so it's less than. It's not greater than. So we're gonna pick this one, not that one. So because it's dashed, no solid line. Because it's under, shaded under, it's less than. Now the y-intercept here again is, looks like -3. The y-intercept is in the end. So now all I need is a rise over the run. And as you can tell, looks like a rise is 2 to 1, 2 to 1, 2 to 1, 2 to 1, 2 to 1. So it's 2 over 1. So the answer is y is less than 2x minus 3. Alright, Jenny drives a constant rate of 65 miles per hour. They try to hide the word per right there, but that's y equals 65x. But then they say something about inequality, which means I can't use an equal sign. It take her to travel more than. They actually want us to use more than. And then they actually tell us how much more than. More than 325 miles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the end right here and put more than 325 miles. Just like that. Now, what type of boundary line should be used for this? As you notice, there's no equal sign, there's no solid line right here, so it's going to be a dashed line. Circle the points that are the solution. And in inequality, the solutions are wherever it's shaded. So this is shaded, this is a correct line. This is shaded, this is correct. But that line is not shaded. This is a shaded line, this is a dashed line. So since this one is not shaded, it is not a solution. This one's not shaded at all, it's not a solution. So these two are not, these two are. This is a system. Again, imagine there's a guy here and a person here. They'll never meet. They're in two separate speeds. So there's no solutions here because they'll never meet. There's only one line here, so if these guys are on the same line, they can meet multiple places, many different places. And again, if there's a guy here and a guy here, they can only meet one place. So when you're looking for the solutions, you should look at the graph and see how many times they actually intersect. Given 3 linear equations, find 2 that give you the solution 2, 5. So we're going to go ahead and check them out, but you realize there's 3 of them. And you can't graph all 3 of them together. So instead of looking here, we're going to look here. So A says 1 and 2. So I'm only going to graph 1 and 2. 2x plus 1, and 5x minus 3. Alright, they say solution is 2, 5. 2, 5 is over here somewhere. You notice that's not really it. Let's go to the table. They're not meeting at 5. This one's at 5, this one's at 7. So it's not A. Let's try B. B says try 2 and 3 together. So I'm going to graph 2 and 3 together. 2 is 5x minus 3, and 3 is 4x minus 3. Alright, let's see. They do not meet at 2, 5. He's at 2, 5, the other one is at 2, 7. Alright, 1 and 3. 3 is 4x minus 3, 1 is 2x plus 1. Alright, let's check it out. And they do meet at 2, 5. See, at 5, they're both at the same spot. 2, 5, 2, 5. So the answer is C. Alright, two lines that make up the system with a solution negative 4 and negative 2. So what I got to do is I got to locate negative 4, negative 2. Alright, and the solution there, the one place where they both meet, is this one, TV. What is solution system comprised U and V? This is U, and this is V. The solution is where they meet. They meet right there, 0, 3. Name one system that has no solution. No solution means they don't meet. This one and this one don't meet. They're parallel. VW. We solve the following by using the substitution method. Now this one's a little bit more work, it's a little bit more involved. You write down the original one right here. You write down the harder one right here. And you rewrite the easy one over here again. Now, y comes out, this comes in. So I'm come over here, scratch out the y, and put this in there. If you do that, you end up with negative 2x minus 3x plus 2 equals negative 3. And now you combine like terms. Negative 2x minus 3x is negative 5x. And then you just start solving. The opposite of plus 2 is just minus 2 for both sides. And if you divide by negative 5, x equals negative 1. And now again we do the same thing one more time. We take the x out, put the negative 1 in. I end up with y equals negative 3 times negative 1 plus 2, which is y equals 3 plus 2, which is y equals to 5. So my answer, x of negative 1 and a y of 5. Now we didn't have a lot of space here, so for the next one I'm going to write in the back where we have a little bit more space, or I'm just going to go ahead and use a separate sheet of paper to write it on there. So let's go ahead and do that. For number 71, I'm going to write it over here. X equals y plus 4, and then 3x minus 2y equals to 14, and x equals y plus 4. So remember, the letter is already solved out to the left. The one that is not is in the middle. So x comes out, y plus 4 comes in, x comes out, y plus 4 comes in. Now notice there's a number in front of it, so when I plug that in, it has to be in parentheses. Do not scratch out that 3. We're only scratching out the x. Now we'll do the parentheses first because we always handle that first. 3 times y is 3y. 3 times 4 is 12. Minus 2y equals 14. Now we go back to what we did a second earlier, which is get all the letters that combine them together. If you have 3y and take away 2 of them, you only have 1y left. And we'll get rid of positive 12 by putting minus 12 to both sides. And you're done with the y. Now the y comes out, the 2 comes in. So x is 2 plus 4, and 2 plus 4 is 6. So the final answer is 6, 2. X is 6, y is 2. (72). For these, we have to use linear combination. Now, we'll do the first one here because it's pretty easy, it's pretty set. Y minus y is 0. They cross out. This is a positive 3, so you're going to add it. 4 plus 3 is 7. 11 plus 10 is 21. If you divide by 7, x is 3. Now you rewrite one of the original equations. It makes no difference which one you use. But we take the x out and put a 3 in. So here's the x. I'm going to take it out. Put that 3 in there. And 3 times 3 is 9. So if you subtract 9 from both sides, x equals to 1. So the answer there is 1, 3. Now the next one requires a little bit more work, so we're going to write it on a separate sheet of paper. We have 5x plus y equals 14, and x plus 2y equals to 10. And I want to get rid of them, but if I just straight up read them, 5 plus 1 is 6, 1 plus 2 is 3, none of the letters crossed out. Remember, they have to cross out in order for us to do our work. So that means I'm going to have to multiply one of them by a number to cross it out. Okay, that's a 5. In order to get rid of a 5, this has to say negative 5. Right now it says 1. So 1 times negative 5 makes a negative 5. Watch this. Negative 1 times 1 becomes negative 5x. Negative 5 times 2 becomes negative 10y. And negative 5 times 10 is negative 50. You have to multiply all of them. Now you rewrite the original one down here. Now that we've done that, watch this. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. That's what we want. We want one letter to cross out. Negative 10 plus 1 is negative 9. Negative 50 plus 14 is 36. Negative. And if I divide by negative 9 from both sides, y equals to 4. Now that I have y, I rewrite one of the original equations. I get y out, put 4 in. That becomes 5x plus 4 equals 14. If I get rid of 4 to both sides, 5x equals to 10. And if I divide by 5, x equals to 4. So, x is 4, y is 4. The answer there is 4, 4. These systems are a little bit harder, but the concept is something we've covered in class. The Gap sells shirts for 5 and jeans for 10 each. Now, $5 each for the shirts, $10 each for the jeans. They both have the word each, so we can't really use X for both of them. So we'll use X for this one and Y for this one. Last Sunday, the store sold 200 more shirts and jeans and made $325. Now we have a problem. We have 4 numbers. Usually we only use 3. So we have to figure out which ones go together, and that's really easy. The dollar sign goes with the dollar sign, goes with the dollar sign. So these 3 go together. So we have $5 shirts plus $10 jeans. We didn't use X and Y because they want us to use S and J. Equals 325. So the trick here is 4 numbers. You only need 3. So make sure you use the 3 that are the same kind. Money, money, money. The last one is the store sold 200 shirts and jeans. So that means all the shirts plus all the jeans equals to 200. Whenever they say a total, you always add S plus J. Alright, domain and range. Again, every time they want domain and range, just draw a box around it. And the box is the one that's going to tell you what the answers are. Okay? Domain, again, X and Y. Domain is the X. Range is the Y. Doctor. So for X, you just go like this and draw the inequality signs. For the range, you go like this and you draw the Y. Okay? X. This is X. The box is at 4 and negative 2. The dots are shaded, so it gets a line. Let's do Y. This is Y. That one's at negative 1 and negative 9. And again, that's shaded and that's shaded, so they also get a line. Super easy. 77, arithmetic or either. Arithmetic is when you add or subtract to get to the next number, and you notice in this case we're subtracting 4, so yes, it's arithmetic. It's not geometric. The first term, the first number you see is 84. The common difference is how much are they different by? They're different by 4. It's negative 4. It's not a common ratio. Common ratio is for geometric. And you want the function formula in finding the 9th term. So let's go ahead and check that out. There's a formula for that. And I'm going to have to remember what that is. I don't remember what that was. All right, let's check it out. So we're going to go ahead and work this out. And you could use the formula, which I don't really remember. So instead of using the formula, you can ask your teacher. I'm going to use the table. Much easier for me. Okay? Stat, enter. My first term, second term, third term, fourth term, fifth term. And over here, the first one was 84. Second one was 80. Next one was 76. Next one was 72. Last one was 68. Stat, to the right, 4. Enter, 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 enter. And there you go. Y equals negative 4x plus 88. Now, if I want to find the ninth term and I have the equation, I just type it in here. Negative 4x plus 88. All I got to do is go right here and find the ninth one. 52. Solve for Q. Again, whatever letter you're going to solve for gets a multiply, divide. The other one gets a plus or minus. It's already adding, so I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. A number and a letter don't subtract, so you write them down side by side. Now, if I want Q, I want to get rid of T, so I divide by T. These cross out and get the final answer, which is Q equals J minus 5 all over T. Now, you can leave them like that with T under each of them, or like that with all together. Same thing. Solve for Y. Same concept. Whatever letter you're solving for gets a multiply, divide. The other one gets a plus or minus. It's already positive, so I subtract 2x from both sides. Again, remember, a number and a letter don't subtract, so you just write them down side by side. And now you divide everybody by 4. You end up with the final answer, which is negative 1/2, because 2 divided by 4 is 1/2, x minus 25 over 4. Same thing right here. Solve for R. R gets multiply, divide. The other one gets plus or minus. It's already plus, so subtract T from both sides. Again, H and T are different letters. They subtract. And then divide by 3. And I'll just like to put a big old 3 on the bottom. That ends up giving you H minus T all over 3 equals to R. Just like that. Last question. Your piggy bank has 28 coins that are all nickels and dimes. So the total is 28 coins. So X plus Y equals to 28. Now the value. So for the next part, when you're using X and Y or N and D for a nickel and dimes, you need their value. The value of a nickel is 0.05. The value of a dime is 0.10. And that gives me the dollar value of 205. And those are your equations, just like that. Alright guys, thank you so much. I hope you have a good test. Good luck.